Coming up, it's been 1 year since Jabez Spann went missing. What Sarasota police are now doing to try and find the teen. Plus, Tropical Storm Gordon heading toward Mississippi and Louisiana. Will it be a hurricane by the time it makes landfall? What the city of Venice is hoping to do with fertilizers to help with the effects of red tide. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC 7 News at noon.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Our top story today, it has been 1 year now since a Sarasota teenager went missing, and there's still no sign of him. Jabez Spann was last seen September 4th of 2017. There have been countless search parties, but no sign of him. There's a $50,000 reward for information that leads to his whereabouts. If you know anything that can bring Spann's family some answers, you can remain anonymous by calling Sarasota County Crime Stoppers at 366-TIPS. And there are new developments in the search for a missing 2-year-old boy in Largo. A sketch of the person of interest now being released by police. Jordan Bellevue went missing Sunday morning after his mother says she accepted a ride from a stranger in a white Toyota Camry who went by the name Antoine. The mother claims he punched her, knocking her out, and when she came to, she was in a wooded area and Jordan was missing. Today, police are searching ponds in that area where the mother and son live to look for possible clues. A Northport woman is charged after a mother found out she was dating her 15-year-old son. Northport police say 22-year-old Alexis Bowman was arrested Thursday. The victim's mother told police she had met Bowman, who she believed to be 18 years old, 4 months ago and consented to them dating, until she learned that she was actually 22 years old. Police say the two had sex 2 weeks ago, but Bowman was later arrested. A Port Charlotte Massage Envy employee is now facing sexual battery charges after a customer says he was violated. Javaris McNeely was arrested last week following a 4-month investigation. Court documents show the customer went to Massage Envy and fell asleep during a massage. That's when he claims McNeely assaulted him. Following a DNA test, McNeely was arrested and charged. The search continues for a hit-and-run driver who struck and killed a Bradenton man. Troopers say a driver hit Paul McComb on State Road 64, East Manatee County, just before 6 a.m. Sunday morning. Friends mourned his loss at the Old School Bar and Grill in downtown Sarasota, where McComb was a regular. They're hoping the person responsible comes forward.
Come forward and, give everybody a little bit of closure and peace with that.
You couldn't find a bad quality about Paul except that he gave too much.
Troopers say McComb's car had broken down when he was hit by an eastbound vehicle near Dam Road. Happening today, the Sarasota County School Board is expected to discuss whether or not to allow its school police department to have access to the Sheriff's Office information systems. That access would give the school police department the ability to search the national and state crime information centers for law enforcement purposes. That meeting will start tonight at 6:30 at the Landings. Northport is getting more firefighters. A grant from the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA will allow additional personnel to be added to West Villages. The $2.5 million grant will allow the city to hire 21 additional firefighters, and the money will be awarded over a 3-year period. Right now, West Villages is covered by Sarasota County Fire and Rescue. Happening today, a beach renourishment project is underway on the northern end of Lombo Key. The new sand is being trucked in from a sand mine in Immokalee. This is all part of a larger project that's covering 4 different sections of the central part of the key. The North Shore Road beach access is closed and parking is limited. Contractors say this phase of the project should wrap up around the start of October. Some Siesta Key shops did not get the holiday business they were hoping for this Labor Day, and they blamed the red tide outbreak. Siesta Key oyster bar workers say sales were down about 40% in the month of August compared to last year. They added that recently improved conditions have more people coming out, but still sales are down about 20% from last year so far.
I have many friends that work for or own accommodations on the Key, and many of them are 85% vacant or worse, and a bunch of our business comes from tourists, and we are reminded how much we value them.
Other businesses in Siesta Key Village say they have been closing early due to the lack of customers and running promotional sales to try and get more people to visit that area. New at noon, in the wake of the red tide outbreak here on the Suncoast, the Vice Mayor of Venice is taking a strong stance against fertilizers polluting the Gulf of Mexico. ABC 7's Ray Collins is here with a story. Ray?
Yeah, Scott, the Venice Vice Mayor Bob Daniels says the city can do more to reduce red tide. He plans to bring up a plan next week to his colleagues on City Council to stop the use of nitrogen and phosphorus fertilizer. He says the runoff into the Gulf is making red tide worse. Here's his comment, followed by a reaction from the owner of Sharky's on the Pier.
And I'm proposing a ban on fertilizers until we can stop our outfalls polluting this ocean, this Gulf here. It's very evident that our 3 miles of Gulf here that we are letting pollutants go into it that feed the red tide.
You know, I'm a restaurateur, so I don't know much about things like that. I read the moat information and things like that, but I got to believe that nutrients in the unnatural nutrients in the Gulf is probably not a good thing.
A little windy out there as well. Pashota says due to red tide, he says they lost half their business in July and 2/3 their business in August. Meantime, Vice Mayor Daniels will raise the issue at next week's council meeting a week from today in Venice. Scott?
All right, Ray, thank you so much. Let's get to Chief Meteorologist John Scalzi now. We'll look at your forecast today. And John, gosh, we still have a tropical storm, a strong one out in the Gulf right now. And breezy, as we just heard.
Yeah, kind of a reminder that we're in the thick of it now.
Yeah.
In tropical season, you know, and if you haven't done all your hurricane preps and got everything ready to go, and always prepare for the worst, right, and expect the best, now's the time to do it, because we are a long way from over with hurricane season yet.
Right.
Unfortunately.
This is the busy time of the year.
This is exactly the busy time of the year. And after this one is gone, Gordon is gone, and in the history books, we've got another one down the road that we're going to have to be watching too next week. Gordon is looking much healthier this morning than it did about 5-6 hours ago. It is now moving into an area that is a little bit more conducive for rapid development, and it is possible still that it could make it up to hurricane force before making landfall. That is the thinking anyway. You can see the large amount of rainfall headed up toward the Panhandle and northern Gulf Coast. Now, it's not really impacting us directly. You can see our showers that are beginning to form are riding on an easterly wind. And that'll be the case today and maybe tomorrow as well. We'll talk about that forecast coming up in a few. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. Now to the tropical storm Gordon as it heads for that northern Gulf Coast. ABC's Kendis Gibson explains why governors have already declared states of emergency in Mississippi and Louisiana.
Tropical storm Gordon intensifying in the Gulf of Mexico.
I don't want to see another hurricane like Katrina at all.
Evacuations are already underway in New Orleans for people living outside areas protected by the levee system. The National Hurricane Center is warning of a life-threatening storm surge up to 5 feet in some areas.
You don't take any of these storms lightly, even though it may not be a hurricane.
Tropical storm and hurricane warnings stretch hundreds of miles, as forecasters say the storm could dump up to 8 inches of rain. Many along the Gulf Coast say they're not taking any chances.
I went to Sam's, bought a bunch of water and stuff for my family. And other than that, just kind of letting all my employees know to kind of prepare, because you don't know what's going to happen.
The storm already drenched parts of South Florida. This time-lapse shows the bands of rain moving through Boca Raton. Farther south, Miami's famed beaches, normally packed with tourists on Labor Day, deserted, shut down on a holiday. Meanwhile, in the heartland, major flooding from a separate weather system. Several days of rain inundated Manhattan, Kansas, in what's being called a 500-year event. An estimated 300 people have been displaced because of the flooding there.
Just a little bit of panic, just trying to get all my belongings together. But I didn't have enough time, so just took baby and dog and wallet and keys, and that's it.
Kendis Gibson, ABC News, New York.
And remember to get the latest breaking news happening anywhere as well as here at home, along with your First Alert weather forecast. Download our apps. Go to your app store, look for WWSB or My Suncoast. Still to come in your Suncoast News, why a new study claims good things really do come to those who wait. And then later, who will replace Senator John McCain in Arizona? That state's governor now considering to fill that seat.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
All 2018 Accord inventory is on clearance for just $249 a month. During the Honda Summer Spectacular event, get an Accord, the North American Car of the Year, with tons of standard features. Honda Sensing, multi-angle camera, alloy wheels, and a turbocharged engine for less than the competition. Just $249 a month. Or save thousands with 1.9% financing this week at your local Honda dealer.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189 now for a free, no-obligation quote. TruStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Once you get atrial fibrillation, you need to have a very close relationship with your primary doctor. Prevention is the whole ball game here, because once you have a stroke, you can't undo it. A year without stroke, it's a year that you can enjoy doing the things that you've worked all your life to finally get to do. You took care of yourself. You did what is necessary for you to be around one more year. And then next year, we'll celebrate one more year without a stroke.
Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
86 degrees the air temperature. We have a dew point value coming in at 77. Hot and steamy out there with that southerly component to the east-southeast wind. Breezy too at about 14. That's going to help keep that sea breeze really from forming too terribly much. But nevertheless, we're still going to get our showers moving in here. A 60% chance of that occurring this afternoon by 3 p.m. We'll look for some of those showers to have some gusty winds as well as some pretty good downpours of rainfall. We have a lot of moisture in our atmosphere. We have plenty of sunshine to help to stabilize the atmosphere, and we have that wind coming up out of the southeast that's going to transport that shower and moisture activity from inland areas. 40% chance of showers as we head into 7 p.m. and then overnight maybe an isolated shower or two, but the rain chance not much. You can see the general mass of rainfall associated with Gordon, as is often the case. Tropical storms don't do a lot of wind damage, but boy, they sure can do a lot of flooding damage, and that's the point with this particular storm. Looking a little healthier now. Its eye wall a little bit more visible than it was earlier on when some cheer was really taking it apart. Now it's starting to get a little bit more symmetric as it heads northward. It's still forecast to perhaps become a minimal hurricane before making landfall, but that's not the point. The point is it could have some very heavy rainfall in the northern Gulf Coast, in excess of a foot of rain in an area that has just seen a storm system produce flooding rainfall. So not a good situation. Its impact on us a little bit less today than it has been, and that is because the rain bands continue to pull away and we're left with this general easterly flow. So we're back to kind of a summertime pattern here as the showers build in inland areas and move in this direction fairly rapidly. Could actually see some waterspout activity out in Gulf waters a little bit later on today, not much of a chance over land. And we still have a few rivers that are in flood stage. But the good news is we did have a couple of days there of relatively dry weather Saturday and Sunday. Yes, we had some showers around, but it certainly wasn't the persistent ongoing 2, 3, 4 inch rainfalls every day. So that was good. Tropical storm Gordon Moving to the northwest now at 15 miles per hour. 65-mile-an-hour winds really remained unchanged for about the last 6 hours, but forecast still to become a minimal hurricane later tonight before making landfall, probably in about 16 hours or so. Moving onshore as a Category 1 storm and then rapidly advancing into the center part of the country where it'll be picked up by a cold front and whisked out toward the Great Lakes. As it does that, it'll wring out its moisture and undoubtedly produce some flooding situations. We have an east wind for boaters today, coming in at about 10 throughout the afternoon and into the evening. Moderate chop on bay and inland waters. Forecast a 60% chance of rainfall today. Tomorrow, perhaps a little bit of drier air filters in. That could reduce our rain chance a little bit for several days. And then the drier air goes away and moisture returns, and we're back into the 60% chance of rainfall for most of the weekend, and then maybe dry it out a little bit as we head into next work week. Scott.
Okay, John, thank you. In Health Smart, can the ability to delay gratification have an effect on how much you earn? ABC's Emily Rao explains why researchers seem to think that's the case.
There's an old saying, good things come to those who wait. A new study suggests this may be true, particularly when it comes to future earnings. A Temple University research group conducted a study of 2,500 U.S. adults, collecting basic information like job title, gender, age, and height, along with reported annual income. They found that after occupation and education level, the strongest predictor of high earnings was delayed gratification. In other words, the longer you wait for rewards, the greater chance that your future salary might reflect it. This is the first study to show that delayed gratification has more influence on income than factors like age, ethnicity, and geographic location. Researchers indicate that further studies are needed, but in the meantime, passing on smaller, more immediate rewards may just be the better investment. With this Medical Minute, I'm Emily Rao.
Well, if you sometimes feel like you can't refuse a chocolate chip cookie, well, there may be some science to it. Research shows that the ingredients in chocolate chip cookies not only create a perfectly harmonious flavor, but they also blend to create a perfectly addictive treat. Sugar is shown to induce cravings and can trigger some of the same addictive responses as cocaine. And chocolate also has small amounts of a compound that triggers the same parts of your brain as THC, the active ingredient in marijuana. All right, time now for lunch, so let's get over to the kitchen and say hello to our guest today, Chef Caleb Taylor, joining us today from Jack Dusty inside the Sarasota Ritz-Carlton. Caleb, great to have you back in the kitchen. What's for lunch today?
Good afternoon. Today we're going to show you how to make Jack Dusty's signature Sarasota Cioppino.
If you think it's hot outside, just wait until you see even hotter savings inside. Only at Rugs As Art Hot Summer Savings Sale event will you find the lowest prices on a vast selection of stunning rugs, furniture accents, and accessories. This special event only happens once a year, so hurry in before the best selections are gone. The Hot Summer Savings event ends soon, so don't miss out on the best prices ever. Rugs As Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
Attention, do you have Medicare? Do you want to make sure you have the most benefits and lowest possible out-of-pocket costs? You may be able to lower your out-of-pocket costs and get dental, vision, and prescription drug coverage included in your plan. Call the Medicare Coverage Helpline now to find out what you deserve.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Buchwald. Over 3 million people have called the Medicare Coverage Helpline, but there are still many people who don't check to see if they're eligible for more benefits and lower out-of-pocket costs. It's so easy. One simple free call could save you money and get you more benefits. Be smart. Call the Medicare Coverage Helpline now.
Call now to see if you may be eligible to lower your copays and get extra benefits, including dental and prescription coverage. Don't delay. Call to see if you're able to save money and get more benefits now. Call 1-800-711-7200. Again, call 1-800-711-7200 now.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less. and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
New at noon, with Senator John McCain passing away last month, the governor of Arizona must now appoint someone to fill his seat. ABC's Tom Lamas explains how that new senator could be deciding the vote in confirming President Trump's new Supreme Court pick.
I want to honor this man's life.
That's Arizona Governor Doug Ducey, now facing one of the biggest political decisions of his life, naming John McCain's replacement.
He's irreplaceable.
The Republican governor had refused to mention any potential candidates until Senator McCain was laid to rest. By law, a Republican like McCain has to be appointed.
We've often said, what would John McCain do in this situation?
But the real question may be, what would President Trump do? Politico reporting Ducey and the president spoke following McCain's death about the now vacant Senate seat. Ducey needs the president's help in his own re-election bid come November, and President Trump likely won't want a maverick like McCain who wasn't afraid to break with his party. Senator McCain notably giving that thumbs-down vote on the plan to repeal Obamacare, which infuriated the president. And though some have called for another McCain to fill the seat, possibly Cindy McCain, the late senator's wife, it may not be that easy because of the prickly relationship with President Trump. Over the weekend, daughter Meghan McCain eulogizing her father and delivering this stinging statement many saw as a knock on the president.
We gather here to mourn the passing of American greatness. The real thing, not cheap rhetoric from men who will never come near the sacrifice he gave so willingly, nor the opportunistic appropriation of those who lived lives of comfort and privilege while he suffered and served.
Former Arizona Senator John Kyle and Ducey's chief of staff, Kirk Adams, could also be contenders.
That was Tom Lamas reporting. We'll have more on Judge Kavanaugh's confirmation hearings happening now in Washington coming up at 12:30. Let's get back to the kitchen. John is with our guest today, Chef Caleb Taylor from Jack Dusty at the Sarasota Ritz-Carlton. John?
Indeed. Always a pleasure having Caleb in the kitchen. Good to see you again, sir.
It's always great to be here. Thanks so much for always having us.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Always tasty. So you're cooking up a traditional kind of San Francisco seafood dish?
Exactly right. It's kind of been owned by the West Coast for some time, so we've brought it here to Sarasota. This
Excellent.
is a cioppino. It's really a signature dish that we have at the restaurant. Yeah, like you said, based in San Francisco with Italian American immigrants.
The fishermen, right?
Exactly.
It's kind of like a potluck for them.
It's a fish stew, almost like a bouillabaisse, right? So we're starting with a little olive oil here in our pan, and I have some beautiful elephant garlic here that I've sliced. You can see how big that is.
Huge.
But it's got a nice flavor to it. It's not, bitey and bitter. So we're going to take some of that. We're also going to take some shallots. And the great thing about this dish, if you're making it at home, you can really use anything you have in the kitchen. It is a stew, so you can put just about anything in this. I'm going to turn this up a little bit there. But we're going to let this kind of simmer for a little bit, add a little heat. I like a little red pepper flakes in mine. Let this kind of simmer for a little bit, get that stirred up. In the meantime, I've taken some Cedar Key clams that I have here, and I've purged those for about 20 minutes in a little bit of water. They're filter feeders, so they're going to release any type of dirt, anything, sand, anything that might be inside.
Really? I never knew you should do this. So how do you do that? You just drop them in fresh water?
Just
and
submerge
let
them in clean water for about 20 minutes, and they're going to release anything that they might have been storing in there.
Good to know.
So we will put those in our pot here. And these are going to take a little longer to open than anything else we're going to add in here. So we're going to let this go for about 4 minutes, but I am going to deglaze with a little white wine that I have here. And then I would take it at that point, cover it up. And again, about 3 or 4 minutes, those clams are going to open up. They're going to be beautiful.
Okay.
Now, in the meantime, I will take some mussels. These are Prince Edward Island mussels that we use at the restaurant.
Do you also have to do that with mussels? Do you have to put them in fresh water?
We do that, and then also too, you know, they have a beard. They like to grow facial hair, so we've removed those beards from these beautiful mussels. And then we have some grouper we're going to add in here.
Oh, nice.
We're going to add some shrimp. Okay, we'll let that cook a little bit, and then we make a beautiful house-made tomato ragu. So we're going to put this in our pot here, and we use lobster stock in the restaurant. So
nice.
We get our lobster stock going here.
Nice and flavorful.
Absolutely. So again, just a really, you know, depending on, you know, the group that you're having coming, you can add more clams, more anything else.
Got about a minute left.
We will cover this up. And now I did get one started already.
Beautiful.
I have cooking here. I've added some scallops. And important thing is we want to finish this with a little whole butter. This is going to give it a nice rich mouthfeel. Add a little body to it. And then we're going to finish it with a little fresh thyme. So a little fresh thyme there. We'll put this in our pot here.
Smells so good.
Most important part of this, I saw you eyeing the bread.
Yes.
Is to serve this with a nice grilled, crusty bread so that you can soak up a lot of those different things inside of the dish.
Nice. I want to remind everybody that the recipe for this is on our website, mysuncoast.com. Caleb, would you take a second and address the concerns of some people out there about shellfish and fish at this time of year with the red tide and everything that we've had? They're staying away from restaurants, and there's really not that but need to, really.
You're right. We have been selling a lot of steaks, a lot of chicken, but what's important is we purchase our fish is caught, you know, several hundred miles offshore to ensure that it is safe, and just working with all of our fishermen and our purveyors to ensure that we are getting the best quality product.
So eat your seafood. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Absolutely,
Appreciate it.
my pleasure.
We'll be right back.
From the moment she walked in the door, we stopped having to go to the pharmacy. Certain prescriptions, my health plan or the pharmacy wasn't even able to get here. And hospice provided them, and all we had to do was call up, and the next thing they know, there was another, you know, a delivery.
Ready to open up new opportunities as an electrician? Don't do it yourself. Team up with Mr. Sparky instead. We're locally owned and looking for people like you. We offer our electricians great perks that you just won't get going it alone. And whether you're an apprentice, a master electrician, or somewhere in between, we have a spot for you.
Best decision I ever made.
Apply online or call today.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-Sparky.
What do you get when you cross your tired, aching back with this fragile egg? The Egg Sitter Cushion, an amazing new flex cushion that supports your backside and spine so well you can sit on an egg without breaking it. Incredible!
You want me to sit on this egg? Okay. I can't believe I'm doing this. I don't even feel it. It didn't even break? Oh, I was wondering about that. Now that's a good cushion.
The honeycomb design is constructed of Elasticor that absorbs pressure points by collapsing in on itself. That's why even this egg won't break under direct pressure. Now long days at the office will be more comfortable, dinner more enjoyable, and painful car rides a thing of the past. Get your Egg Sitter Support Cushion for just $39.99. It comes with a free non-slip washable cover and our 10-year comfort guarantee. But wait, call right now and you can get a second cushion. Just pay separate fee. Call now.
Call 1-800-232-1564. That's 1-800-232-1564. Call now or go to eggsitter.com. Order now.
It's been about a month, and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need, because their story is important and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
I took my first handful of pills, and that's when all my priorities seemed to change.
He would ask to use the bathroom in other people's homes.
He just assumed that they would have medication.
He'd go in their medicine cabinets and steal prescription drugs.
I wish I knew really what these prescription pills were.
We were so naive about the whole drug thing.
These are all synthetic forms of heroin.
Keep your medication locked up because you'll never notice that a pill is gone.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Coming up, hearings begin on Capitol Hill for Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, why Democrats try to delay the proceedings. Plus, a museum housing Brazil's history goes up in flames, and why sand dollars are washing up on some Suncoast beaches.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 12:30.
Welcome back. Our top story at 12:30 right now on Capitol Hill. The confirmation hearing for President Trump's latest Supreme Court nominee started with a bang. ABC's Janae Norman explains why Democrats are objecting to moving forward as protesters in the audience also interrupted the proceedings.
Chaos erupted on Capitol Hill during Judge Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court confirmation hearing.
Chairman, I move to adjourn. Directly from Judge Kavanaugh.
Democrats making a motion to adjourn the hearing just as it was getting underway. They criticized the White House for blocking access to 100,000 of Kavanaugh's documents and lambasted an 11th hour document dump.
You said, I quote, "We've had more than enough time to review the documents." Sir, we just got a document dump last night of over 40,000 pages. I would venture to say not one senator here has had time to read through those 40,000 pages.
Republicans have the votes to confirm Kavanaugh by their target date of the first week of October, but Democrats are questioning what they see as a rush to proceed.
We waited for more than a year with a vacancy on the Supreme Court under the direction of your leader in the United States Senate.
What are we trying to hide? Why are we rushing?
The calls to adjourn and motion to postpone denied.
The motion is out of order. The motion is denied.
And one big question is the role Kavanaugh may play if the Supreme Court hears cases on the investigation into presidents like the Mueller probe. He previously wrote that presidents shouldn't be distracted by civil litigation, criminal investigation, and possible prosecution. Janae Norman, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
The New Yorker magazine is uninviting Steve Bannon from its festival in October. President Trump's former chief strategist was originally invited for an on-stage interview at the event, but the announcement caused a massive backlash, including from other big names set to take part, including comedians Jim Carrey and Patton Oswalt. The magazine says it's still open to interviewing Bannon in a more traditional setting, but not on stage. John Kerry is not shutting the door to a second run for the White House. The former Secretary of State was asked during an interview whether he might run for the White House in 2020. Kerry said he was not thinking about it, but he would not give a definitive no. The former Massachusetts senator narrowly lost to President George W. Bush in 2004. Kerry did say he is planning to hit the campaign trail for other Democrats ahead of the November midterm elections. Brazilians are mourning the loss of their national museum. As many as 20 million historical artifacts were destroyed. An investigation is underway to find out how that blaze that lasted for hours started in the first place. The 200-year-old museum was once home to the Portuguese royal family. An update now on USA Gymnastics. The organization's CEO is stepping down after just 9 months on the job. Carrie Perry resigned last night. She took over last December in an effort to help the organization recover from the Dr. Larry Nassar sex abuse scandal. Perry's resignation comes days after the United States Olympic Committee questioned the direction of the organization under Perry's leadership. The search now begins for a new interim leader. Happening today, 5 suspects accused of abusing multiple children in a New Mexico compound where another child's remains were found are expected to appear in federal court. Those initial felony abuse charges were dismissed last week because the prosecution missed a 10-day window to formally file them. Now they're facing federal charges related to firearms and conspiracy. FBI agents seized at least 11 firearms at the compound and say they were transported illegally across state lines. The number of birds killed by red tide continues to rise. Last week we told you about more than 40 injured birds that were brought in to save our seabirds in just one day. Since then, the total has risen to nearly twice that number. That's an average of 6 to 7 birds brought in every day. While many of them are ready to be released, 31 of the shorebirds have died from the effects of red tide.
I'm still letting people know to keep their eyes out. You know, red tide is getting a little bit better, but just to keep their eyes out for the birds on the beaches.
About 20 birds have been brought to Wildlife Incorporated in Bradenton Beach, all suffering from similar effects of red tide. And more sand dollars are washing up on our beaches, along with dead fish and crabs. You may want to reconsider before taking home one of those shells. You could be breaking the law. It's illegal to keep any live sand dollars in Florida, and you're limited to just 2 per day in Manatee County. It's important to know the difference between live and dead sand dollars before taking them home.
The live ones are dark gray with spines. The dead ones are white or light in color with no spines.
Sand dollars play an important role in our marine ecosystem, so as more sea creatures are plagued with red tide, it's important to think twice before keeping a living shell. And the same goes for if you find a shell and there's a snail or a crab or anything inside of it, that means that's its home, and you should leave it alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let us hope that this Gordon has maybe churned up the water sufficiently that maybe we'll catch a little break now.
I was thinking about that yesterday.
That'd be nice.
Hoping it would help.
Yeah. Plus we've got all the rainfall, so the you know, discharge of water helping to dilute the red tide cells too. Maybe that'll help. So, and we've got our fingers crossed. We're looking at some cloud cover out there right now. The cloud cover has been kind of persistent throughout the morning. Fast moving clouds though. What we're looking at here out over Sarasota Bay are some of the fast moving bands heading from south to north of Gordon. They're really producing not much in the way of a rainfall chance for us here on land. You'll notice 2 distinctly different moving patterns on radar echo here. The ones associated with Gordon on the edge of your screen moving from south to north, and the others over land moving from east to west, riding on that easterly wind flow. We are in that kind of pattern that is typical for this summertime of year, with daytime heating, moisture, and an easterly wind. Showers build inland and move to the coast. That's in the name of the game for the afternoon, with about a 60% rain chance. We'll talk about that, talk about the weekend, coming up in just a few. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. Now take a look at this. A driver in Philadelphia is blaming a squirrel for a crash he caused. Police say the driver lost control of the vehicle and plowed into a row of cars parked along the street. One witness says the driver was later pulled out of the car with only a few scratches, and then the witness says the driver gave this explanation to police.
I went down the street, seen a squirrel, and he thought he wasn't trying to hit it, he swerved, and they lost control and banged out.
No word from police yet on whether the squirrel was actually a factor in the crash or whether the driver will be charged. An update now on a vacation nightmare. At least 1 person is killed and 3 are still missing after a boat crash on the Colorado River. ABC's Amy Robach sat down with one of the survivors to hear their story.
One victim from this weekend's horrifying boat accident on the Colorado River is speaking out exclusively to ABC News.
We shouldn't be alive because it was that bad. Sorry.
Taylor Corbino was celebrating Labor Day weekend with family and friends along the California-Arizona border. She says she was on one of the 2 boats involved in the deadly accident.
I look up and I see the boat, the other boat, and next thing you know, I'm in the water. The current was so strong, it was moving me around, and all I could think about is get air. I don't know, I can't tell you how long I was underwater, but I know that it was long enough to where I couldn't hold my breath anymore. I actually breathed in some water, and all I told myself was, Taylor, swim to the top to get some air, and I swam to the top.
2 boats hit head-on about 50 miles per hour in the river near the Topak restaurant.
The collision Saturday night claiming the life of at least 1 person, 51-year-old Christy Lewis, 3 others still missing. Taylor considers herself lucky. All 6 people on her boat survived.
I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to drown.
Police saying the boats collided with such force that 16 people were ejected into the water before both vessels sank.
A horrific crash, sounded like a freight train hitting the side of a building. It was horrible.
Investigators haven't commented on the cause of the deadly crash, but Taylor's family and friends watching from a separate boat say the boat that slammed into her in the dark didn't have any lights on.
I watched the whole accident, and there was no lights in front of my buddy's boat.
The lights were off on the other boat.
There was
complete
debris
chaos
everywhere, complete chaos.
People screaming and everybody looking for their family, friends, and we're frantic.
I'm screaming, where's Taylor, where's Taylor? I mean, it was total chaos. And then I heard her, somebody said Taylor's okay.
The sheriff's office is now investigating the crash and says none of the boaters were wearing life vests.
I feel that God does everything for a reason, and he was definitely watching over us that night.
That's Amy Robach reporting. Police say they will not stop searching the river until all of the missing passengers are found. Happening today, the animal conservation community is remembering Australia's internationally renowned crocodile hunter, Steve Irwin. It's been 12 years since Irwin was killed by a stingray barb to the heart while filming a documentary. Irwin's family, including his wife and 2 children, have worked with the Australia Zoo to keep his name and ideas for conservation alive. Irwin was only 44 years old when he died. 2 North Florida hunters are going to need a bigger boat. The 2 gator hunters had no idea they would catch the biggest gator of their lives. A whopping 750 pounds and about 12 feet long, all with just a rod reel and that small boat.
When we finally snagged the alligator, it was on like Donkey Kong from there. He fought so hard, we finally got him up to the boat, got him with a harpoon, put a couple big snatch hooks in him, and the first thing we seen was his tail. But his tail, that didn't do him no justice. Once we get the other hook in him and seen his head, we were more or less scared than we were happy at this moment.
Hunters say this was the first alligator they have ever caught, and they plan to reap the rewards of their hard work. Here in the Suncoast, Venice police responding to a manatee in distress from possible red tide. That manatee was found in the Intracoastal Waterway near the Venice Avenue boat ramp. With the help of a few vacationers, Master Police Officer Paul Joyce of the VPD Marine Unit helped keep the manatee calm until FWC arrived. Florida Fish and Wildlife took that male manatee to SeaWorld in Orlando for treatment. There's no word yet on how the manatee is doing, but there have been 5 manatee deaths over the past week in the Venice area. Still to come, your Suncoast News, why Nike is using Colin Kaepernick as the face of its new string of Just Do It ads. Details when we come back.
Helping families with mesothelioma is all we do. My firm has been offering a free book on mesothelioma for over 10 years. Since that time, hundreds of people with mesothelioma have trusted us to represent them. We have local offices throughout the U.S. and there is no risk to you. Mesothelioma really is all we do. Call us at 1-800-485-6000. That's 1-800-485-6000. Or go to mesoonlylaw.com.
Attention, do you have Medicare? Do you want to make sure you have the most benefits and lowest possible out-of-pocket costs? You may be able to lower your out-of-pocket costs and get dental, vision, and prescription drug coverage included in your plan. Call the Medicare Coverage Helpline now to find out what you deserve.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Buchwald. Over 3 million people have called the Medicare Coverage Helpline, but there are still many people who don't check to see if they're eligible for more benefits and lower out-of-pocket costs. It's so easy. One simple free call could save you money and get you more benefits. Be smart. Call the Medicare Coverage Helpline now.
Call now to see if you may be eligible to lower your copays and get extra benefits, including dental and prescription coverage. Don't delay. Call to see if you're able to save money and get more benefits now. Call 1-800-711-7200. Again, call 1-800-711-7200 now.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TruStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do-it-yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
86-degree air temperature, dew point value 77, and we have 74% relative humidity. 97 our feels like temperature at this hour. As we head through the afternoon, we'll look at a 60% chance of showers developing. A few of them will produce some fairly heavy rainfall. A lot of them will just be showers, and a couple perhaps way out in Gulf waters may have some water spouts associated with them. Those would be pretty far distance offshore, however. But nevertheless, we continue to watch the showers linger through the 7 o'clock drive time hour and then kind of fade away thereafter. A very clearly defined presentation of a strong tropical storm, but a kind of weak structure for a hurricane. Nevertheless, as it lifts northward into these waters that are a little bit more conducive for development, it is possible it can make that transition into a hurricane as Gordon lifts northward, most likely with a landfall later today somewhere around Mississippi or Alabama coastline. But there's a hurricane warning up from really the mouth of the Louisiana Delta region all the way back toward areas of Florida to the border of Florida. This is probably going to be a big rain producer for that coastline, maybe a foot of rainfall, plus the potential for severe weather. You cannot rule out isolated tornadoes as well as a little bit of storm surge as well. Though storm surge will be somewhat minimal with a weak Category 1 storm. We've got some scattered showers over on our coast, basically caused by that easterly wind flow across a very warm, moist environment, and daytime heating starting to create a little instability in the atmosphere. Isolated showers building in Hardee and DeSoto counties, now moving into areas closer to the coastline. Manatee County seeing a few scattered showers around. These are fast movers, and really total rainfall accumulations will probably not be all that great because of it. Gordon, 65-mile-an-hour winds forecast to make it on shore later today or early tomorrow morning as a Category 1, probably later today. 75-mile-an-hour winds as it makes it on shore, then it kind of slows down a little bit, and that will allow for some additional possibilities of some flooding before it starts to get picked up by a frontal boundary and ejected off to the north and to the east at a pretty good clip as just a remnant low. The forecast wind speeds for a hurricane landfall are right now at about the 20 to maybe 30% range. So there's the outside chance, and of course that's what they're forecasting. Florence continues to, again, be a fish storm, becoming from a Category 1 storm to a tropical storm as it lifts to the north on Monday. And then beyond that, we'll watch a couple of tropical waves coming off the coast of Africa. 50% chance of developing over 5 days. It's a long way away, but forecast models are pretty certain that it's going to move toward the west. And by the time we get toward midweek, we'll have to keep an eye on it. Midweek next week, keep an eye on it and see exactly what it decides to do, or if it's still a system. 5 to 10 knot winds today, becoming 10 knot winds during the evening hours. And then as we look ahead, again, good chances of rainfall today. A little bit of drier air sneaks in tomorrow, reducing rain chance a little bit. And then as we head into the weekend, we'll start to see those rain chances bump back up again to about 60% as we head into the beginning of next work week. Back to you, Scott.
All right, John, thank you. In consumer news, when it comes to holiday travel, it's never too early to book your airfare. Mary Maloney has a closer look at deals you won't want to miss.
What's your holiday travel strategy? Buy now to avoid a huge price surge, or wait and hope that prices will drop. According to new data trends from Google's travel team, if you want to save, don't wait. Overall, regardless of the destination, Google says airfares are likely to go up 75 days before departure, and again 35 days before departure. In fact, it says if you wait to book your trip until October, you'll likely see a 95% price increase. And if you procrastinate and book in November, Google says last-minute travelers can expect another 30% increase. But not all experts agree. Travel website Hipmunk says it's not too late to book next month. Hipmunk says the first week of October is optimal for purchasing flights for Thanksgiving. Whichever you choose, here are some saving
planning tips to consider. Experts recommend flying on Thanksgiving Day. You'll see the cheapest flights, fewer crowds, and shortest lines. And don't fly back the day after Thanksgiving. Instead, extend your trip if possible and return midweek to save. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
Nike has a new face for the 30th anniversary of its Just Do It campaign. It's Colin Kaepernick. The former San Francisco 49ers quarterback shared this photo to Twitter with the quote, "Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything." In August 2016, Kaepernick started the movement to kneel during the national anthem to protest racial injustice. He opted out of his contract with the Niners last year, and he's been unsigned ever since. Kaepernick filed a grievance against the NFL, claiming teams are colluding to deny him a job. And last week, an arbiter ruled that there was enough evidence to send the collusion case to trial. Still to come in your Suncoast News, why Roseanne Barr is moving to Israel ahead of ABC premiering the spin-off to her canceled show.
Hello, Mom.
Amanda's mom's appointment just got rescheduled for today. Amanda needs Right at Home. Our customized care plan provides as much or as little help as her mom requires, whether it's a ride to the doctor or help around the house.
Oh, of course. Tom, I am really sorry. I've got to go.
Look, call Right at Home. Get the right care right at home.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Clogged pores are disgusting. Introducing Dermasuction, the easy way to suck that yuck out of your pores. Dermasuction removes blackheads and dirt from your pores. Just look at everything it extracts. The secret's the gentle vacuum action. Watch as Dermasuction extracts so much yuck, leaving your skin feeling clean and youthful.
The gunk that had been pulled out, I was pretty horrified, but better in the Dermasuction than on my face.
It's almost addictive because you can see all this stuff coming out of your skin that you don't even really know is there.
Call now to order your Dermasuction for just $19.99. We'll also include our small and large body probes, the Sonic Microdermabrasion probe, and the handy travel case, all absolutely free. Order now and you can double the offer. Just pay a separate fee. You can get all this, but you have to order now.
Call 1-800-213-9301. That's 1-800-213-9301. Or visit dermasuction.com. So call 1-800-213-9301 now.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator. There was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes.
Welcome back. Coming up on ABC 7 News at 4, Tropical Storm Gordon getting closer to the Gulf Coast. With it bearing down on Louisiana and Mississippi, oil refineries could be forced to close. We'll take a look at how that could impact your prices at the pump. Plus, rebuilding an iconic Suncoast structure damaged by Hurricane Irma, where the plans stand to rebuild the Anna Maria City Pier. We hope to see you later this afternoon at 4. In entertainment news, plenty of movies news today involving the stars of several major franchises. Here's David Daniel with a Hollywood Minute.
Solomon Lane escaped in Paris.
Now the world is at risk.
China loves Mission Impossible Fallout. The Tom Cruise movie had the franchise's biggest opening day and biggest 3-day launch ever in China. It's also Cruise's best debut in China. One of the film's investors is Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba, which promoted the film to its more than 500 million online consumers.
You know who I am, yes?
You're Drax, the Destroyer.
But maybe not for much longer. Guardians of the Galaxy star Dave Bautista is sounding more and more like he may not return to the franchise. He's blasted Disney, which owns Marvel, for firing Guardians writer-director James Gunn, and recently on a British TV talk show, Bautista said, "To be honest with you, I don't know if I want to work for Disney."
How are you?
After 30 years of Die Hard movies, Bruce Willis is finally getting his character's name in the title. Producer Lorenzo Di Bonaventura tells Empire Online the 6th Die Hard movie is titled McClane and will feature Willis as a 60-year-old John McClane and a younger version of McClane in his 20s. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Aretha Franklin's family is speaking out against the remarks made by an Atlanta pastor while eulogizing the singer at her funeral. Reverend Jasper Williams came under fire for blaming the African-American community for black poverty. Franklin's family released a statement calling his comments offensive. Her family added the singer never asked for Williams to eulogize her. Roseanne Barr says she will not be in the country when the spinoff to her canceled sitcom returns to the air on ABC this fall. Barr announced she would be in Israel studying Judaism when The Conners premieres next month without her. The comedian was fired from the reboot of Roseanne earlier this year after racist comments on Twitter. The show was quickly canceled despite its high ratings. The Conners will premiere here on ABC October 16th. Finally, Dunkin' Donuts is in hot water with the New England Patriots fans. Controversy erupted on social media after customers in the Boston area were served coffee in cups featuring the Philadelphia Eagles. The cup showed the Eagles logo and read World Champions. Now remember, it was the Eagles who beat the Patriots in that last Super Bowl. Dunkin' uses cups during football season featuring the logos of the teams in their hometowns, but it appears there was a little mix-up in this case. The company says it's now working to stock stores with the correct cups. And what makes it even more ironic is that the Dunkin' Donuts is an official sponsor of the New England Patriots.
That's funny.
They really messed up.
Yeah, nothing's going to make that coffee taste sweeter. No, really not. We'll have more on the storms, of course, at 5 with Bob on Radar.
Okay, thank you, John. Hope to see you later today. Have a good day.